welcome to my channel. In the previous video I have explained you three topics of runtime environment, namely runtime storage organization, stack allocation of space, access to non-local data on stack. Let us start the next topic, namely heap management. This heap management topic consists of these subtopics: introduction, memory manager, memory hierarchy of a computer, locality in programs, reducing fragmentation process. What is heap memory? What is heap area? When program is being executed, some memory space is allocated for dynamically allocated variables. Some memory is going to be assigned for dynamically allocated variables. That memory space is called heap memory or heap area. It is actually part of main memory, or in general heap area holds all dynamically allocated variables information. The heap is the portion of storage that is used for data variables that lives indefinitely or allocated and deallocated dynamically. Indefinitely means that are going to be allocated, deallocated runtime dynamically, no fixed storage. It can grow or shrink, depends on need of the requirement of the program. So that is called heap. For example, C language supports dynamic memory allocation using malloc and calloc functions. Similarly, C++ and Java languages supports new operator to create objects and delete operator to deallocate chunks of storage. Chunks means blocks of storage. Memory manager is responsible for implementing allocation and deallocation strategies within the heap efficiently. It serves as an interface between application programs and the operating system. The basic functions of this memory manager include allocation, deallocation. So allocation means providing space, block of space, block of memory for the required variables. Deallocation means removing. So when a program requests memory for a variable, then the memory manager provides a chunk of heap memory of size requested. This process of assigning some data to the required variables of the program during execution is called allocation. Deallocation. The memory manager deallocates means frees the space for the variables that are allocated earlier and adds it means this free space to the pool of free space so that it can be reused later. Desired properties of memory manager include the following: space efficiency, program efficiency, low overhead. That means the memory manager should minimize the total heap space required by a program. It should manage the memory so that the total heap space required by the program should be minimized. Second, program efficiency. The memory manager should make better use of space so that it can run the program faster to increase the efficiency. Third, low overhead. The memory manager should implement allocation and deallocation strategies efficiently with low overhead, with minimal overhead. So these are the properties of the memory manager. Next one, memory hierarchy of a computer. Normally all modern computers arrange their storage as a hierarchy. The memory hierarchy consists of a series of storage elements with smaller, faster ones closer to the processor and the larger, slower ones further away from the processor. So as listed here, we have registers and cache memory and physical memory means RAM and virtual memory. So in this diagram we have four types of memory: registers, cache memory, physical memory, virtual memory. So registers are part of the processor, actually the closest memory part, the closest storage part that can be accessed by the processor CPU is called register. Register stores limited data, limited information, but it is very close to the processor. It can access it easily, faster. And one step higher is cache memory. The cache memory capacity is more than register, but its speed is somewhat slower than registers. So like this, the nearest device is working with high speed and this connection goes on, this link goes on. So see one by one. A processor has a small number of registers. Usually registers, each processor CPU will have registers, general purpose registers, special purpose registers. So some kinds of registers are there whose contents are under software control. So registers are used for storing small amounts of data, some number of bits usually. This is one part in the hierarchy. Next, cache memory. The processor can have a cache memory with one or more cache levels: first level cache, second level cache. See here, first level cache, second level cache. Usually made out of static RAM, whose size may be kilobytes to several megabytes usually. The next level of hierarchy is the physical memory, means RAM, what we call simply RAM, which is made out of the hundreds of megabytes or gigabytes of dynamic RAM. So physical memory is made from dynamic RAM, whereas cache memory is made from static RAM. Next, the physical memory is then backed up by a virtual memory, which is implemented by gigabytes of disks. So virtual memory means some part of disk is going to be accessed with speed as much as physical memory with the concept of virtual memory. Upon a memory access, the machine first looks for the data in the closest storage area, usually a register. If not found, looks in the cache memory. If the data is not there, then looks in the next higher level. This task goes on. Next, locality in programs. Most programs exhibit high degree of locality. That means they spend most of the time most of the time executing a relatively small fraction of the code and touching only a small fraction of the data. Usually when you run the program may spend most of their time executing a relatively small fraction of the code. In this regard, we can associate or we can define two types of localities, namely temporal locality and spatial locality. What is temporal locality? We say that a program has temporal locality if the memory locations it accesses are likely to be accessed again within a short period of time. So a program is having temporal locality if the memory locations that the program accesses are likely to be accessed again and again, frequently or within a short period of time. Next, what is spatial locality? We say that a program has a spatial locality if the memory locations close to the recently accessed location are also likely to be accessed within a short period of time. A small difference is there. Here we are not going to, according to spatial locality, we are not going to access the same memory location again and again. Instead, we are going to access memory location which is close to the recently accessed location. So the memory locations close to the recently accessed memory locations are also likely to be accessed within a short span of time. This is called spatial locality. Next, last one, reducing fragmentation. So fragmentation means division. Usually the device is split into blocks, fragments, or we call chunks, pieces. So this topic related to that one. So at the beginning of the program execution, the heap memory is one contiguous unit of free space. Contiguous means some continuous. As the program allocates and deallocates memory, this space is broken up into free and used chunks of memory. So as the program allocates and deallocates memory, the space of the heap is going to be broken up into two types: used blocks and unused blocks, or free chunks of memory and used chunks of memory. And the free chunks need not reside in a contiguous area of the heap. We refer to the free chunks of memory as holes. So the free block, memory block that is not assigned for some data this time or current, that free chunks of memory, that free blocks of memory are called holes. And with each allocation request, the memory manager must place the requested chunks of memory into the large enough hole. Unless a hole of exactly the right size is found, we need to split the same hole or some other hole, means some other free block of memory, so that creating another smaller piece. So that means the block again split into smaller parts. The chunk of memory is again split into some smaller chunks. This process is called fragmentation, division of memory into blocks or chunks, again smaller chunks like that. So this is chunk A and this is chunk B. With each deallocation request, the freed chunks of memory are added back to the pool of free space. So after deallocating, the free chunks of memory are added to pool of free space. We combine together contiguous holes means free chunks of memory, into larger holes, as the holes can only get smaller otherwise. So if we are not doing all this, suppose we are not in a position to combine very smaller holes, free chunks of memory into bigger holes, we will face some difficulties. Next, if we are not careful, the memory may end up getting fragmented, consisting of large number of small non-contiguous holes. It is then possible that no hole is large enough to satisfy a future request, even though there may be sufficient aggregate free space. So free space is available, but we are not in a position to find one free chunk of memory that is suitable for the given data object. So that is going to happen if we are not careful. To overcome that, we use the following techniques: best fit and next fit object placement, managing and combining free space techniques. So these techniques are applied so that this fragmentation is done efficiently, so that the memory allocation deallocation works efficiently. So up to now we have completed the chapter called runtime environment. Thank you.